What's this store doing out here in the middle of nowhere? It's interesting. Let's see what's in there. Hello. How are you, shopkeep? Got anything good for me? No, not really. That's not bad, but not my stuff. I don't have enough coal for that. Output chest. Interesting. Nothing in there. 1 nugget for a minecart. 1 for a wooden hoe. 1 nugget for 36 grass. Yeah, I could go for more of that. How about my hoe? Yeah, sure. I broke that earlier. I've been wanting one because I need to do some farming next time I get back to my base. And minecart. Why not? I'll take a couple of those. I have plenty of nuggets. I can always go back to my gold farm later too. Huh. Didn't get 36, but that's alright. Minecarts. And there's my wooden hose. Wonderful. Let's get going. Hello everyone, this is Unlike the Buffy here. Welcome back to another Redstone tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at this simple Redstone storefront that we can use in any survival world that you could want, in case you want to sell some stuff. In which case, well, you can. This is actually working off some pretty simple principles if I can get my F5 working right. Pretty much all of these chests are just simple item filters that are then hooked up to a dropper, which drops things upwards into a miniature item elevator, which is basically a cylinder of glass, which then has a hopper, if I can think of the word right, a hopper connected straight to that, which goes straight into our output chest right here, which we can collect our stuff and have a great time once we get it. To activate it, all you have to do is add in 1 nugget of your choice, or whatever currency you decide to have it. But because this is no longer filled with minecarts, it is actually filled with emeralds, then we get ourselves an emerald block. If we want more of that, then we can come over here and grab more stuff. However, this side is quite buggy, so be careful with it. To activate this one, it's pretty much exactly the same as everything else, just add in 1 nugget or whatever currency you currently have. And you can see that this dispenses items up into this. See, this is what I'm talking about getting a little bit buggy. But it dispenses items up into the water stream, which then puts it onto the hopper track and sends it right over here into our chest, ready for collection. However, I did make a mistake in where I put 36 grass on here. I actually meant to put 12, because that's what it's currently set to using this hopper right here. I'll explain how that works in just a little bit. And now this is what this puppy looks like, all stripped away in just the essential parts. You can see it really is just very, very simple. But all you need to build this is simply 8 redstone repeaters, 36 blocks of your choice for the building part of it, like the blocks you don't see, 9 redstone torches, 5 comparators, 15 redstone dust, 30 hoppers, 37 decorative blocks of your choice, just like how we had it set up before, along with 20 stairs, so that way we can actually open the chests. And then we also have 5 chests, 1 bucket of water, and 132 blocks of glass, because things are just a little bit buggy, and the glass seems to help a lot with it. So, we're going to go use a lot of glass in this. However, I will be showing you a way to use it without glass, but it changes the look of the storefront a little bit, so be wary of that. Okay, so to start this off, all we're going to do is build a simple item filter. You're going to build up 3 blocks right here, add 1 block to the top, 1 block to the bottom, and then build up 2 blocks right over here, making sure to leave this corner open. At this point, you can either get rid of or keep either of those corner blocks. It is entirely up to you and your choice. It does not affect the machine at all, one way or the other. So we now add a redstone repeater facing forwards. We're going to say that this side right here is the front, this side right here is the back, just letting you know. This one's going to be facing forwards on just 1 tick of delay. Add a redstone torch right here, as well as some redstone dust right here, and a comparator facing backwards on the very top, just like that. Take one of your hoppers, place it facing into that comparator. This is very important. You want it facing the tail into the comparator. Then you're going to place one just junk block facing, or two junk blocks coming out from that like this. Get rid of this block, place the hopper facing in the opposite direction from this one, so this one's facing back, this one's facing front. And from here, we're going to, well, you can pretty much lead this anywhere you want, because this is where your money's going to go. When someone buys something from your store, the money's going to come through here. So, let's just say, for now, we're going to place a chest right here, and we'll place some hoppers feeding all the way into it from right here. And that should work perfectly fine. And so for now, on this hopper right here, we are going to add in all the items that we are going to be using as our currency. Just fill up the line just like this. Make sure it is all singles all the way across except for this very front part. Then we're going to add in 19 items on that front part. So 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 right there. And you can see that it drops back down to 18. That means it's working for sure. And that 19th one is stuck right here. There will always be one extra right in this hopper right here. So it's really impossible to get rid of that. So you're going to have to deal with it if you don't like it. Another thing to note is if you don't want to have the entire thing filled with your currency item, you can, of course, use any other item you want as long as it's a 64 stackable item. Just like that. If it is a 16 stackable item, that takes up a different amount of space inside the hopper, and you will have to finagle with it to make sure you're getting it all right. But it's cheaper to use chests in here than it is probably gold nuggets, so if you're using gold nuggets, feel free to use the chests in here, instead of filling it up with gold nuggets. I'm saying gold nuggets way too many times. And now, of course, this will not work unless you put on your input chests, of course. And so that way you can actually put in all your gold nuggets and it will be accepted, basically. Because you don't want just people throwing stuff into that hopper. You can do that, of course, if you really want to. The chests just tend to look a little bit better. They look a little bit more polished. But once you get all your items in there and people start buying stuff, just come down here to wherever you have sent your currency to be gone and collect it, and now you're rich. As for the output chest, all we're going to do is place one block in between this chest and where the output chest is going to go. You can, of course, place the output chest to wherever you want it to go because, well, this is your store. I am not the boss of you. You are your own boss. But for now, we're going to build it like we did over here. So you can see we have only one block of space in between these two blocks right here. These two chests, that is. And I'm going to make that a double chest because double chests just look better. And if you buy a lot of stuff and you don't collect it right away, then it actually can hold more. And now for the dispensing systems. All we're going to do is add an extra block to the back of each of these ones, except for this last one because that one's special right now. So for each of these ones are the ones where you dispense only one item per currency. So you just grab your redstone repeaters, place it on top of those blocks facing backwards, and those are going to be facing into the droppers. Make sure that those are facing upwards. Also, you want to make sure you have 4 droppers. I forgot to say that earlier. But these droppers are then going to be surrounded with plenty of glass. We're going to place a line of it going right over the top of each of these. And then we also want to create a 3x3 square of glass over the top of each of these ones. So because these are only a couple blocks apart, then that's going to be in a 5x3 rectangle of glass. And then build up those all the way up like this. Make sure it is all thick to high. Make sure you're not missing any glass panes. And then get rid of this middle, because that's where we're going to place our hoppers. Feed your hoppers into the back of the output chest, the chest where people are going to collect the items that they buy with your store. Then make sure that you place the hoppers going all the way over to the right over the top of these droppers. Alright, so the reason this works is basically it's kind of a bug. You've probably seen it before, an item elevator made out of a 3x3 rectangle of glass, going however far up it needs to go. Items get shot into a fence, which glitches the item upwards into the glass and goes all the way up to the top, where you usually have some water running or a hopper, just like you see it here. This is basically a tiny version of that. It's only 1 block tall, as opposed to however many would be otherwise. I've seen it as big as 50 blocks one time, and it still worked. It was kind of awesome. But basically, once this glitches upwards, it will get stuck in the hopper, and then it'll decide, oh yeah, I should probably travel down the line, and it'll end up in this chest right here, which is awesome, because that's exactly what we want it to do. However, if you decide that you want to sell something that actually stacks to a higher amount, like, say, a full stack, or quarter stack, half stack, whatever you want to do, really, then that requires a little bit more of a complex situation, right? Obviously, because this is just 1 item per currency item. And we want more than that, so it requires a little bit more of a complex situation, like I have said before. What we're going to do is add 1 block right here, 1 repeater facing off to the side just like this into another block. Add another block to the back of that one, and a comparator on the very top facing backwards. Then you're going to add a hopper right on top, hopper feeding into that. Get rid of that first hopper, break that one, and add 1 back right to where it was, except it's feeding into that second hopper right here. So you can see they're just kind of kissing right here. Isn't that beautiful? It's a romantic story, I tell you. But, first of all, we're going to add another block right here. Technically, you could actually just get rid of that block, but you don't want to, because that is our input block. But we're going to add 1 block right here, 1 right here again, and we're going to place, once again, a comparator facing off the side of this one. This one's facing forwards. This one faces into a block of redstone, and that one has a redstone torch on the side of it right here. Add another block right here, as well as right here. And that is also going to have some redstone dust on top of it. And then we're going to add a block right next to that, but 1 up, so it's facing into it just like this. And we're going to actually put a redstone torch right on the side of this one. Block in between the redstone torch and this block right here. Redstone repeater facing into that one. Make sure that that redstone repeater gets lit up, because that's exactly what we want to happen. After that, just add 1 block right here with a piece of redstone dust on top of it, and a redstone torch right on the side of this block right here. And that is pretty much all of this circuit done. All you have to do is add it over into the hoppers right here. What you're going to do for that is put a block right in front of this comparator right here, or technically right behind it, because this is on the back. But then we're going to add a trail of blocks just like this, with 1 block on the end, up 1 block just like this. You're going to add a redstone repeater facing into this, with 2 redstone dust coming off the back of it, and another one right behind it, so that way when this one gets activated, it powers the block, which then powers this dust right here, and the repeater picks that up and sends off a stronger signal. On the side of this block, we're going to have 1 torch. Just 1. That is it. We're also going to place 1 block off to the side just like this. So it's 1 below, 1 to the side, and then another 1 to the side then from that. Place another 1 to the side on that one. And then from here, we're going to add a couple of redstone torches. This is going to be, this circuit right here is a burnout clock. If you have not seen that before, you should check it out, because it is the fastest way to make droppers, anything, activate in survival redstone, I think. But we're going to add on top of this our last 2 droppers facing upwards, of course. Make sure to get rid of the ones you misplaced, just like that. And this is now complete. Now, this whole circuit right here, minus this part right over here, is designed by Xumavoid. If you want to watch his tutorial on how it works, because he does a much better job of explaining it than I do, then link to download that will be in the description below. Actually, not to download it, to watch it. But this right here is basically a variable pulse lengthener. If you want to have multiple stacks of, or you want to have not multiple stacks, but higher amounts of items, then all you have to do is add more items into this. So basically, the way that this works is we're going to be working with 64 stacks, items that stack to 64, that is. If you want a quarter stack of items, you want to add 2 items. What this will do is it will dispense 12 items out of the dispenser. If you want to add 1 more, then that would dispense 20. So you have an option of 2 or 20. If you want a little bit more than a half stack, then all you have to do is add a couple more on top of that for a total of 5 in here. This could be any item if I have not mentioned that already. Feel free to use whatever item you want. Dirt works perfectly because you have it in abundance. But this will dispense 36 items. If you want almost a full stack, then you have to add 3 more for a total of 8 items in here, and that will give you 60 items. If you want to guarantee at least a full stack of items, then you will want to add just 1 more, and that will give you 64 items plus 4. However, this configuration is for the one that we have here right now. If you want, you can get rid of that one hopper, or that one dropper that is, and replace it with another regular block. But this means that we also have to double the amount of items that we have in here, and this will take a longer time to dispense items. It'll take about double the amount of time it would take to dispense the items otherwise. But for a nearly full stack of items, this gets a little bit more precise, by the way. If you want a nearly full stack of items, you can add 16 items in here, and that'll give you 62 items being dispensed. Add 1 more for a total of 66 items being dispensed instead of 62. For some reason, I cannot get it to dial down to exactly 64, so you're going to have to deal with a small margin of error here. If you want a half stack of items, all you have to do is have 8 items in this hopper. That'll give you 30 items being dispensed. If you want 34 items, just add 1 more. And lastly, if you want like a quarter stack of items, almost, then all you have to do is have 4 items in there. Adding 1 more item in this hopper will give you 18. Once again, it cannot dial down to exactly 16, 32, and 64 for some reason, so I apologize for that. I cannot figure out how to get it down that far. But for now, we're going to stick with the double dispenser here. Dispenser dropper, that's what I'm trying to say. But just like before, we're going to add a 3x3 square of glass around each of these droppers here. And so that will add another 9 blocks onto this because one of the because this dropper shares glass with this dropper over here. So you're saving glass by doing that. But we're going to, instead of filling all this up, we're just going to break that glass and add in all of our hoppers right here. But this one's a little bit special because of the way it glitches out, and it is not reliable. So what you have to do is fill up all the areas you possibly can here with glass. This is the easiest way to guarantee that people will get as many items as they possibly can. And hopefully that should do it. It might not still. It does not work for me. I'm not sure why. But having more glass seems to guarantee that it will definitely stay in here as much as it possibly can. So hopefully it stays in there while we are dispensing items into our customers' hands. But as you can see, I'm adding a ring around all of this 5x5 area. And then I'm adding in 1 layer of glass right next to the hoppers here. Make sure you surround all this with glass as much as you possibly can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some water and add in right here on this upper edge and that upper edge right there. So that way it flows in from the sides but meets in the middle and flows downwards. So that way if any items glitch out through the glass, they will fall into the water here, which will be pushed down into the hoppers again, and hopefully it will be caught as much as it possibly can be. However, earlier I did mention that there was a way to combat the glitchiness of this, but it would affect the aesthetics of your storefront. That is simply to lower all the hoppers and this chest by 1. And just like that, we have magically solved all of our problems. That is really everything that you need to do to solve everything. But the unfortunate part is that now your output chest is 1 lower. So you could either have it sticking out of the ground like that, or you could just have like a step down from the buying area to the picking up area. Like, place your order here, pick up your order here. You can have fun with it. See if you can figure out what you want to do with it. And of course, once you have everything set up, you can of course decorate your store to however you like it to be. Let's see, we want to add some stairs right here, and some right here, just to make sure that this looks really nice and even right here. And then, of course, you want to make sure that whatever block you place above your chests is transparent, such as a slab or stairs, because otherwise, if you place a regular block right there, whoops, then it can't open. Make sure it's transparent. Glass also works. That's also a valid choice. And now, everything is perfectly ready, and all you have to do is fill up all of your dispensers. Let's see, we're just going to add some andesite into both of these here. And for this one, we're going to sell some mine carts. Why not? And this one will have some diamond chest plates. This seems like a pretty good store. I think people will really like this. And so, of course, all you have to do now is get your nuggets, or whatever currency you've decided to use. Of course, it is all up to you. And just toss it right. I think I want some mine carts. Why not? And this is spam proof. You can spam this as much as you want with items because they will only go through one at a time. And the mine carts will show right up here as soon as you are ready to pick them up. And if you're not ready at all to pick them up, well, that's just fine. You can just keep right on shopping. But make sure to pick them up once you leave, because it'd be unfortunate to pay for stuff and not get them. I've had that happen to me way too many times. But unfortunately, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode for today. Well, not unfortunately, because we built something pretty awesome, and I think you would like it. At least I hope you will. And if you want to download this world that I'm currently sitting in for your own amusement or your own... If you're curious as to how this actually looks in person, and you don't want to build it yourself, you can find the link to download it in the description below. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please be sure to hit a like and a comment down below. It really helps out the channel. Also, make sure to subscribe if you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. So long, everyone.